Well, it's official. Nintendo started it all once again, because I think that they were one of the first, if not the first, to increase a game price first when it went from $60 to $70, and now we're seeing the price increase of games going up to $80 to, I think, maybe even $90, and we have no idea what GTA 6 might be priced. Like, everyone's speculating that it might be a $100 game. Who knows? But yep, it's official that we're going to be seeing this more often, because even Xbox made the announcement, and I'm pretty sure that we'll start seeing just every game company being like, yep, this is an $80 game or whatever it could be. And I'm not even going to pretend that I know politics, because I know that people were saying that it's because of the tariffs, but then there's also the other conversation about like inflation, where like game prices back then were like just the value of a game back then makes sense of like buying a game now at like $80 or so, because that's how much it kind of was back then if you think of inflation and all that. So let's have this conversation, because it is something that is very tough to comprehend, and it's leading to a lot of chaos. You know, people that are even to the point where they're just refusing to get a Switch 2 because of these decisions that Nintendo is doing. Because again, I believe Nintendo was one of the first, if not the first, company to also increase games from $60 to $70 with Tears of the Kingdom, which, you know, at that point in time, that was tough to swallow. And you know, I did play a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and I felt like I got my money's worth, even though at first I was like, wow, $70 when it's the same map from Breath of the Wild, which it was definitely not just that, like when you actually play it. So I enjoyed it. I feel like $70 was okay. But now that we're, you know, heading into $80 to $90, we're gonna be paying almost $200 for just 2 games. That's crazy. Like, that's where this conversation is a big one. Like, do I think that this is ridiculous? Well, again, if you want to be like, oh, let's make sense of this. Again, like, inflation alone. Yes, games being priced at $60 nowadays is way cheaper than what it was back then, where the price of a game was pretty much at the value of like $80 to $90 back then, when it comes to, again, the value of what you know, the price of a game was back then compared to now. But here's the thing, and a lot of people don't take this into consideration. When it comes to games, monetization, especially when it comes to when you purchase a game, the gaming environment has changed so much compared to back then. Like, let's just talk about the Nintendo 64 alone and just stay in the realm of like Nintendo for a little bit, and then we'll talk about like how other companies do things where it just makes no sense for them to be like, you know what, $80, because yeah, that's putting a lot of faith in the company to not do some more greedy practices that they already have been showing nowadays. And it just, again, makes no sense to me on why we're going to increase the price again. But you buy a game back then, you get, you know, Mario 64, and then you put it in your system, and that game is the same game. There's no DLCs, no updates, there's no online service, there's nothing like that. You got the game, there you go, there's your game. Like, you bought it, you don't have to purchase more. Like, other than purchasing maybe controllers or whatever, like if your controller breaks, there's no extra fees. Nothing. No battle passes, no nothing. Obviously now, you know, let's just stick with Nintendo. You have you purchase the game, then you have the Nintendo Switch Online service that you have to pay for to ensure that you can even play online games in general. You have DLCs that they may drop where that's an extra, who knows, $20, $40, it really depends. You know, like, it's just I'm gonna just say this, that it feels like a lot of products nowadays, especially controllers, are conveniently a lot more, well, they're a lot easier to break. I mean, Joy-Con drift has been a huge issue when it comes to the original Switch, and you would go through like the controllers like every month. It was bad, and Joy-Con controllers were not cheap. So you were purchasing like the same products over and over to replace something that probably shouldn't break as easily, and it makes no sense on why they're so expensive if they are going to break so easily. Like, it just makes you feel like, oh, this is just cheaply made. And then you go into like all these other companies where you have like Call of Duty, where there's like battle passes on top of battle passes. Like, they'll do events where there's another battle pass within the same season, and then you have these $25 cosmetics that are definitely not worth $25. Like, it's crazy that we're selling digital items that, like, number one, used to be free in a lot of games. Like, you unlock them through your gameplay, your game time, and whatever you're grinding through in rank and these PvP games and stuff. And now they're pricing them, 25, $30. I mean, if you go as far back as like when they first started to do these like bundles with cosmetics, they used to be just priced like $2, maybe $1, maybe $5 max. But now you're seeing them price things up to like 30, and they're all digital items. They're not physical. So you have a ton of monetization. You have subscription fees, not just for just the online service of like Xbox or something, but you could have a service on top of a service. Like, you log on to, whatever game, and they're like, hey, there's a subscription for this game because it's like an MMO or something like that. And yeah, there's just more money for this game. There's DLCs, etc. Like, do you get what I'm saying? The point is that monetization has gotten to a point where, no, you're not just purchasing the game anymore. There's way more layers of things that they're selling you. And I'm not even going into like the different editions of the games as well that they do, where they have, the collector's editions and such. And actually the most scariest one is the the early access editions, which Doom the Dark Ages recently did, where, and I believe Diablo also was one of them that did this. But if you purchase the digital deluxe edition, which could be like an extra $30 or $20 or whatever, and you get the luxury of playing the game maybe a week, 5 days, 3 days. I don't know. It just really depends on when they decide to give you early access to play the game, which is funny because you're not paying for early access. The game is done. It's just that they're monetizing hey, you get to just play it now instead of waiting until the pushed back date. And what's crazy is sometimes you may get a early access version of the game and it's a mess. It's broken. It has so many issues where, I mean, you pretty much wasted your money. Like, you're also putting faith in whatever purchase that you're going towards. Like, a lot of these games, there's not much faith in them nowadays. Like, you could have games with online services just not even working. You could have a game that's just busted and filled with a lot of false promises. You could have a game that just doesn't feel worth it at all, where it's like, where's all this stuff that it feels like it should have, and it's not there. And they try and resell it maybe to you later. Like, these are things that leads into the conversation of, is it really making sense to price things $80 nowadays? Like, yes, some things like Nintendo games, I know that Nintendo doesn't normally do DLCs or battle passes or anything like that. I'm not saying, I mean, it would be crazy if, like, fast forward a month from now and Mario Kart World's got battle passes and seasons. Could you imagine? But, I know that some of their games they do release and they just don't ask for more. And I know that, like, Tears of the Kingdom, I believe, didn't have any DLC. I know that Breath of the Wild, I think, did, but I don't know if that they were priced DLCs. I don't remember. but I know like Splatoon has, Animal Crossing did with their expansion where you had to pay for that, when originally like that was sparking a lot of hate because Nintendo originally was promising like free updates and free content, and then they did that expansion and we're like, no, you have to pay for that. Like, again, I'm rambling here, but that's why it's I can understand the frustration about this, because now you have to really think about your purchases. And if it wasn't bad enough where you have people like it's if a game isn't 10 out of 10, it's just dead game. Like, I mean, I made a recent video talking about Doom the Dark Ages where it was like crazy to me that I thought the game was really good. I didn't think it was like perfect, but I still had a really great time. And yet there was a lot of discourse about the game, and like to the point where it felt like it was just a 1 out of 10, like we're a 2, like it's just not good. And I just feel like that's not the case for me. Now you're going to have that even more intense because of the price of things. Like if, you know, Borderlands 4 is just a mess, people are going to be more aggressive about it because they spent $80 on the game and they're like, wow, this is awful or something like that. Who knows? And again, it's just games as they are now are not like it was back then. That's it. Like, that is where the counter argument that I feel like is the largest is just monetization for games has changed. It's not just you buy a game and then you play it on the console that you purchased. It doesn't work like that anymore. There's just so many layers of monetization where this hobby is turning into a huge luxury now with how expensive it's going to be and continue to be. Like, I mean, who knows, like down the road, any bad news Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have. Like, you know, I remember when the Switch first came out, obviously there was the Joy-Con drift, but then there was like people finding out that their Switch was bending because of the heat, and, you know, people getting like broken, glitching screens and whatever. It's not good. Like, it's just, this is why I'm not looking forward to this future for pricing of games. Again, I was fine for the most part of games being $70 sometimes, but I just feel like $60 for the base game was just where it made sense. And then if it was a game that didn't have much to it, $40. Now, yeah, we're really getting close to like doubling all that stuff, and it's not good. It's not a good feeling. No, it's not. It's very much not. So I don't know. I don't know how things. And the other thing that's crazy to me, and I will add this, is technically digital games should be cheaper. Technically, like they shouldn't be the same price as a physical copy. And we're also like completely just going away from physical copies at this point. I mean, because Nintendo even said themselves, you will be buying a quote-unquote physical game, and instead it's just a download code. It's not even, like, that's not the game. You still have to, you know, download it into your system. And, I mean, think about it. Like, it used to be, once you get a game, you own it. I mean, I still have my N64, and it still works, and I can still play all my N64 games. Can't really say the same about a lot of our games from, you know, the 3DS that were digital goods, or, you know, the Wii U, and, you know, down the road, even like the original Switch. Like, all these games, like, they just don't stay forever. And you have companies saying horrible things like, oh, you're not actually owning the game, you're purchasing a license to rent it. I guess like that was one of the things I can't remember. Like, don't quote me, but I think Ubisoft was using that to defend when they shut down the servers on The Crew. It was like that car game, and you know, you purchased the game, but now you can't play it anymore because they just shut it down. Like, you can't log on and play the game at all. They just don't let you. It's just, they brick the game. So it's that, again, so many things you have to take in consideration now where, no, it should not go up. It shouldn't. Yes, I understand for the most part that game development has been more expensive. There's more value in the gaming, sphere for companies, and but it's just with all these things I mentioned, I just feel like we shouldn't be increasing prices on games again. That's just me, though. Again, I just wanted to just ramble about that because it is, again, it's one of those conversations where it's like, is this a good thing that they're doing where it makes sense? Like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like, or is it more lines of what I was sharing where it's like, yeah, no, I don't know. This is definitely going to be a interesting shift. That's for sure. Not a really good one, obviously, but interesting nonetheless. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. But yeah, regardless, thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a chibi-tastic day, night, evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Chibi out.